Good.
All right. So thank you for joining our meeting today. We are going to go ahead and get started with the project subcommittee meeting. We're holding this meeting virtually, and it's being held using Microsoft Teams. A video of this meeting will be provided on our website in accordance with the Open Meetings Act requirements. Just going over a couple of ground rules for this virtual meeting. Please keep your microphone muted. We ask that you hold all questions or comments until the end of the presentation by commission staff. Please announce yourself by name when speaking so that any attendees on the phone can identify you. For example, I should have said, my name is Sandy Hertz. I'm the chair of the project review subcommittee. So there you go. The folks that are calling us by phone, please press *6 to unmute yourself, and then press it again when you need to go back on mute. Again, that's *6. The public was invited to submit comments, written comments on any agenda item that we are covering today, up to 24 hours prior to the meeting. Those comments, if received, will be read by commission staff at the appropriate time. And for now, I am going to turn it over to Charlotte to go over our list of commissioners.
Thank you, Sandy. So I'm going to call out the list of commissioners I have in attendance. If I do not say your name, please let me know. I have Commissioner Parker, Commissioner Laird, who's on by phone, Commissioner Jacobs, also on by phone, Commissioner Grant on by phone, and Commissioner Mahoney, also on by phone. I have Commissioner Hertz, Commissioner McCall, Commissioner Malkus, Commissioner Roberson, and Commissioner Varney Alvarado, and Commissioner Mangum. Is there anyone I did not call? Okay, thank you.
All right. So we do have a slight change in how we typically hold our project subcommittee meetings, in that we will be approving minutes from the April meeting at the top of our meeting today. So for the commissioners in attendance, have you had the opportunity to review the meetings from our project implementation subcommittee from April 6th? And if so, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 6th?
Move to approve from Pat Mahoney.
Thank you, Commissioner Mahoney. And can I get a second from anyone? Well, a commissioner.
This is Tammy Robertson. Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Robertson. So we have moved a proposal to move to approve the minutes. So please indicate your approval by indicating with saying aye. All those in favor of approving the minutes from April 6, 2022, please indicate.
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed to approving the minutes? All right, the motion to approve the minutes from April 6, 2022 has passed. So we will start doing that at the beginning of all of our subcommittee meetings. It's similar to what we do for the full commission meeting this afternoon. And with that, I am going to go ahead and turn this over to, I believe it's Ann Sakaric, who is going to be presenting on a joint project between MDOT Maryland Port Administration and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Hi, yes, that is correct. Hopefully everybody can share or see my screen. But thank you, Chair Hertz. As you mentioned, I'm Annie Sakaric, and I will now be presenting the proposed island ecosystem restoration project at Barren Island. You may recall that an overview of this project was presented to the subcommittee at the April meeting. So much of this information may sound familiar, and you may recognize a lot of these images that I stole from that other presentation. I would also like to point out, I believe we have many representatives from the project here to help answer any questions. I know I saw Amanda Pena-Fiel on the list, Mara Morris, Paul Nevin-Glosky, and I believe we have a representative from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So thank you everybody for your time in attending this meeting. And if any commissioners have any questions at the end of this presentation, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to help clarify. So moving on. Okay, so Barren Island is located within the Chesapeake Bay, about a mile west of Upper Hoopers Island in Dorchester County. The Barren Island project is the smaller of the two island restoration projects associated with the Mid-Chesapeake Bay Island Ecosystem Restoration Project, also known as the Mid-Bay Project. The restoration of James Island is the other half of the Mid-Bay Project and will come to the Commission in the future. So on this map on your screen, if you can see my pointer, Barren Island is down here on the south and then James Island is up here. So the Barren Island project is a joint effort between the Maryland Department of Transportation, Maryland Port Administration, and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Currently, the island is 138 acres and is protected by nearly 5,000 linear feet of existing stone sill. This restoration project includes the modification and construction of additional sill, the installation of a segmented breakwater, the installation of 2 bird nesting islands, and the creation of tidal wetlands. The goal of the Mid-Bay project include restoring and protecting aquatic and terrestrial island habitat, innovative reuse of dredge material by providing placement capacity for federal navigation channels, increasing wetlands acreage in the Chesapeake Bay watershed, decreasing local erosion and turbidity, promoting conditions to establish and enhance submerged aquatic vegetation, and promoting conditions that support oyster recolonization. So as I mentioned, one of the goals of this project is the innovative reuse of dredge material. For some background, there are 136 miles of dredge channels in the Port of Baltimore channel system. This map shows the active dredge material placement sites in green, the planned placement sites, including the Mid-Bay project, in orange, and the inactive placement sites in yellow. Baltimore Harbor dredge material is placed at the Cox Creek and the Masonville dredge material containment facilities. As these facilities reach site capacity, innovative reuse is needed to optimize the life of both harbor containment facilities and continue the mandated 20-year plan for harbor material placement capacity. These two maps show the potential channel sources for the dredge material that may be used at James Island and Barren Island. On the Barren Island map, the pink lines represent the channel sources for the dredge material that may potentially be placed at the island to restore the wetlands. So now back to the project at hand. As you'll see on page 2 of the staff report, the restoration of Barren Island will occur in 3 phases. Phase 1 is expected to begin in mid to late fall 2022. Phase 2 is expected to begin around 2024-2025. And the phase 3 schedule is unknown, depending on material and funding availability once the first 2 phases are complete. Phase 1 involves the installation of the areas of stone sill and breakwater that do not require foundation replacement. Phase 2 involves the removal of existing unsuitable foundation material and the emplacement of suitable material in order to install the remaining sill and breakwater sections. And 2 bird nesting islands will be integrated into the breakwater segments. And then the wetland creation will begin in phase 3 with authorized dredge material being emplaced behind the stone sills. So while the main project priority is dredge material placement, the overall purpose is to make the island and surrounding habitats more resilient. As part of the larger Mid-Bay project, the Barren Island project will restore eroding remote island habitat and protect it and its adjacent aquatic resources by integrating resilient practices while providing beneficial use for maintenance dredge material. This image shows the historic shoreline of Barren Island. The bluish greenish line here represents what the shoreline looked like in the 1800s. The pink is the shoreline in the 1940s, and the yellow is the 2020 shoreline. To account for climate resiliency, the stone size selected for the proposed sill and breakwater is designed to withstand the 100-year storm. Sill and breakwater elevations and widths have been adjusted to include up to an additional 2 feet of elevation to account for sea level rise. Hydraulic and hydrologic modeling estimated water surface elevations, surge heights, and various velocity metrics with and without the proposed restoration project during a series of 25 storms in order to identify the most resilient breakwater alignment. The permits and review by other agencies can be found on page 3 of your staff report. MDE issued the water quality certification on April 13th, 2022, and their report and recommendation was forwarded to the Board of Public Works on April 29th, 2022. The Army Corps issued a finding of no significant impact on March 7th, 2022. Time restrictions for various natural resources have been identified and addressed in coordination with DNR, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and National Marine Fisheries. Coordination with DNR will continue through design and restoration of Barren Island. And MHT's historic preservation review is ongoing. Concerns that were previously raised by the reviewing agencies have been addressed, including questions that came up after last month's subcommittee presentation. An adaptive management work group will be established so that agency coordination can continue and any future concerns can be addressed throughout the various phases of the project. Commission staff has requested to be a part of this work group. In accordance with MDE regulations, a public notice was published in the Maryland Register and on MDE's website. In addition, public notice was provided to adjacent property owners and interested community members involved with the project. The public hearing period opened on October 22nd, 2021 and closed on November 29th, 2021. MDE has confirmed that only letters of support were received. So with that, staff recommends approval of the proposed project with a condition. The condition of approval being that prior to the start of construction, MDOT MPA shall submit a copy of the approved tidal wetlands license to Commission staff. So thank you so much for your time. I will now turn it over to Chair Hertz for questions.
Thank you, Annie. I actually have 2 questions and to start off with. The first one is related to some of the images that you showed. If you could go back to the phasing image that you shared, I noticed that there are actually 4 phases, and it looks like that 4th phase has something to do with the wetland. If somebody could speak to that. And then the second question that I have is related to the MHT ongoing review. Is there an approval needed from them that also needs to go into the condition for approval?
Well, I think I'm going to turn it
2
over
questions.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Does someone from MPA want to chime in about the 3/4 phases provided on this map?
Amanda, do you want me to talk about the phases?
Sure, go ahead.
Hi, it's Mara Morris calling from MES. I support MPA on this project as the project manager. So phase 4 is actually the placement of dredge material to create the actual wetlands. So previously we talked about it as like a 3-phase project because the bird islands and restoration of that foundation remediation would occur in phase 2, and then everything else would occur in phase 3. But we have since put in the confining units in phase 3 and the proposed outfalls, and then placement of the actual dredge material in phase 4. So we call it phase 3/4. So it's pretty much everything to do with the wetlands is phase 3/4.
And so the approval that we're providing today would be inclusive of the wetland, the dredge material placement, or not? Yes, it would. Okay.
It does include the dredge material placement and the complete impacts of this project.
Okay. Annie, I don't know if you wanted to speak to the MHT ongoing review.
So I might ask Amanda to chime in, but from my understanding, it appeared that there were some concerns from MHT originally that were addressed in terms, I believe, of the source dredge material. But now there are just ancillary concerns that just require, as far as I'm aware, they're just going to kind of require to be kept in the loop throughout the process, but I don't think that there were any major concerns from MHT. Amanda, do you have any updates about that or any additional information?
Yeah, that's correct, Annie. If we do for the foundation remediation, depending on, which is not necessarily a part of this, the application for the tidal wetlands license, but if we need additional foundation replacement material, depending on where that comes from, MHT would be included in that coordination as well.
Okay. All right. And I think, I believe Catherine has her hand raised, so I'll turn it over to Catherine for a question.
Thanks, Sandy. I did have just one related question about the phase 3 and 4. And so with this vote, nothing comes back then to the critical area commission for a vote in the future, correct?
At this time, that's correct.
Okay. And then just one other question, if you could just speak a little bit to what that ongoing DNR coordination looks like, and perhaps it's through that adaptive management process.
Yeah. Amanda, can you chime in on
Sorry,
that?
Annie. Yeah, no, that's exactly correct, Catherine. DNR will be included in our adaptive management team and be able to address any concerns that come up, and it will be addressed as a part of that AMT, the adaptive management team.
Thanks. And I guess that's when you kind of check in some of the restoration projects that DNR is involved in. That adaptive management also includes conversations such as what's happening with the sea level and water levels. Are there any additional resilience factors that might be needed? Because I know this is one of the projects that has a little bit longer time horizon associated with it. So does that become part of the conversation as well?
Yes, it does, Catherine. Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Catherine. Are there any other commission members, project subcommittee members with questions? Okay, I'm not seeing any. So at this point, I would like to ask for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, Mahoney.
Thank you, Commissioner Mahoney. Is there a second from a commissioner?
Second.
Commissioner Grant, second.
Commissioner Hertz, this is Kate Charbonneau. What about, do you want to capture the condition that is recommended by Annie?
Sure. Sorry, I do have a part to play, don't I? So for you all, the motion for approval is offered in accordance with the staff report and presentation. And the condition was prior to the start of construction, MDOT MPA shall submit a copy of the approved tidal wetland license to commission staff. Commissioner Mahoney, do you still want to make the motion to approve?
Yes, I do. I move to approve
Okay.
with said conditions.
Thank you. And there were two people that tried to offer the second, so I'm not going to figure that one out. So is there somebody that wants to definitively second the motion?
Commissioner Grant, second.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Grant. So we will move to a vote. I would just like Charlotte to make a note that I will be abstaining from this vote because it is an MDOT project. So for the vote, I will ask for all of those in favor of moving this project forward and approving it, indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Are there any opposed to this motion? Hearing none, again, with my abstaining from the vote, it appears that the ayes have it. Thank you all very much for participating in the meeting today. We will be moving this forward to the afternoon meeting for full approval by the full commission. And so I will see you guys this afternoon. I think it starts at 1. So enjoy your lunchtime.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Annie.
Thank you all.
Thank you.